Hello there, and welcome to episode 171 of the FlameFlash.net podcast. And I am here with Nail Fury.
Hello.
Our words are our own. And it is December 8th, 2024. We're recording late again. Oops. But but part of that has to do with the fact that we needed to find some time to successfully play some Marvel Rivals, which just released on the 6th on Friday. Before we transition over to that, is there anything you want to bring up, bud?
Um, Not at the moment. I might later.
Okay. Oh, fought back a yawn. Well, unsuccessfully. But so Marvel Rivals, brand new free to play game, and it is a new hero shooter for those that are not in the know. Think Overwatch or the graphics quality of Fortnite, a little better, or trying to think of another game, Paladins, Smite, just various hero shooters where you get a team and there's an objective played online, and the two teams fight for a particular objective. What's unique about Marvel Rivals is that it uses the Marvel hero licenses. So you can play as Groot, um, Rocket Raccoon. You were mostly playing as which two characters today?
Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, and Black Panther.
Oh, okay, three. So quite a pretty decent roster to start things off on Friday. But the biggest competitor the internet seems to be looking at right now is Overwatch 2 because it's the most dominant hero shooter on the market, or had been. So, what do you think, Bud, of Rivals compared to Overwatch?
Honestly, in my opinion, it's a lot better. Most of the heroes seem balanced except for Iron Fist. Um, very much nerf Iron Fist, please.
Nice.
But otherwise, the rest of the characters feel balanced. They all feel really good. It's mostly about finding who your main is. That's difficult.
Well, yeah, it just launched too, so nobody knows what they're doing, which is
Yeah.
which is a nice thing. Like Iron Fist might become less nerfable as people figure out what the proper counter is to Iron Fist. Kind of like back in the day when a mercy boosted Bastion was just unstoppable.
Yeah, true.
Everybody had to figure out, oh crap, how do we counter this? How about, oh, I don't know, a Genji reflecting the bullets back? Or let's get a Widowmaker and we're going to snipe this Bastion from afar.
Or
So,
perhaps even the Mercy.
yes, exactly. So it's not necessarily that Iron Fist needs to be nerfed. It's just that everybody needs to figure out how to counter Iron Fist.
Um, Honestly, I have to disagree with you there because if you remember, it was that specific Iron Fist who killed our entire team by himself.
Well, that could just be a skilled player too, though,
True.
because there were other Iron Fists that we raffle stomped on in comparison.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so.
So we'll see. So you went Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther. Your
Yeah.
brother was doing Groot. Who else was Sword Agent playing?
I can't remember.
Groot was the main one, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. I keep getting Windows notifications. This is the curse sometimes of recording on my personal computer rather as the main piece of recording equipment. So apologies there that the desktop audio is coming through loud and clear for those listening eventually. Hi, Keela. But that's where we are. And then I stumbled across. Now, one of the really neat things about Marvel Rivals compared to other hero shooters out there is the synergy system. What do you think of the synergy system?
I like it, but I mostly was just laughing my butt off when Sword Agent was telling me to actually switch to someone to cause the synergy.
Gotcha. So you enjoyed trolling your brother, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Spoken like a younger brother. Okay, cool. And then I've stumbled across, who was it? Yeah, the Cloak and Dagger, which, if you're not familiar, since Cloak and Dagger hasn't made the MCU yet, they are a bonded pair. Cloak, his power is that he's kind of has a teleportation cloak, dimensional cloak, can portal or store things inside of his cloak. And
Yeah.
then Dagger, she throws light generated daggers that she's able to just kind of create. And together they make a really unique healer because you actually choose to, like, by hitting shift on the PC, you choose to switch between the two characters. And I was racking up a lot of heals thanks to Dagger.
Yeah.
So that was, oh, excuse me. I apologize. That was rather satisfying to play through. And we did about 2 hours, a little less. I recorded it for posterity my first time in Rivals. So eventually it'll show up on the blog, the live footage, but not for a while because I think we are just nearing the, as far as days I have scheduled, I think we are into July at this point, July of 2023, as far as posts I have ready to go.
Nice.
So, any other thoughts regarding Rivals? Do you think this is something that will be fun to go back to? Something that we should, look forward to others of the 501st and your brother's group playing with? Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so, especially since that's one time when I logged into Overwatch on the release date, and it took me 30 minutes to get into a quick play match as a tank.
Yikes. Yeah. So it's been a good run, Overwatch 2, but you may have finally been unseated. Time will tell.
Yep.
Time will tell. We gamers are a fickle, forgetful bunch, so folks are going to forget why they stopped enjoying Overwatch 2.
And then they'll go back and then see why with all the overpowered characters.
Yep, pretty much. So, any other thoughts for Rivals so far? I mean, I've only played about 2 hours, so you've played more than me.
um, well, I definitely think Doctor Strange is gonna be my tank main. Mostly because I got that one enemy dude who jumped through my portal.
Nice.
Yeah, just set up the portal above the cliff, then set it up in front of the enemy exit, and then boom, they all jump through.
Wee. All right then. Oh. So, um, you said you might have had some other things you to discuss.
Yeah, just small trigger warning because this is about the hotline spike for LGBTQ.
Okay.
Um, so you know the 700% spike in the suicidal hotlines, right?
Right.
Um, Something that was recently very heartbreaking for me is when I saw that news on TikTok after I looked it up, of course, to make sure it was true. Um, there were a lot of Republicans and Christians saying some very bad stuff.
Mm.
So some of them are like problems taking care of themselves,
Hmm. Okay.
or they've just been laughing a bunch.
So more bad sportsmanship then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why I say it's heartbreaking is because before Trump's win, there were a lot of them like, oh, we support the LGBTQ, or we don't care about the LGBTQ, let's leave them alone.
Hmm. Yep. Anything else?
Um, Not really. I was just kind of hoping for your feedback on this.
Hmm. Well, they're just it goes back to the bad sportsmanship, the rubbing it in of the win, and we kind of hit that I think last week. Are they saying something different or more? comparatively, or
Uh, very um homophobic
yeah.
things, extremely homophobic things.
So just the drilling in harder on their very unkind opinions because they feel empowered after the win then.
Yeah.
Right. Well, words still have consequences. These folks, they aren't as powerful as they think they are. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what we just have to remind ourselves of that fact.
Um, besides that, I would like to say something that was a little bit funny to me.
All right.
Ever since Trump's win, there has been a 1,514% increase in Americans relocating from America to Canada or New Zealand.
That was a big percentage number there. Where did you get that number?
I had it written down. I don't remember what article it was from.
Okay. Huh. So just lots of people are actually leaving, though, is the main
Yeah,
point. Statistically speaking, we're seeing an exodus.
yeah,
Interesting. Makes sense, but it's interesting. Hmm.
yeah. Um, I can't remember. Didn't wasn't there something about Canada in our group chat with everyone?
Just that if you do try to flee to Canada, don't tell them that at the border. I think that was the big tip. Let them know after the fact. You go and turn yourself in after you're actually in Canada, and then they start the immigration process.
Oh, I was more talking about what Sword Agent said about if Project 2025 happens, about all of us going to Canada.
Oh, um, we'll have to wait and see. I think thanks to federalism and the irony of states' rights, since that's something that the GOP loves to talk about, they're going to walk a very, very fine line between trying to insist the states join and letting them still have their own state laws and state rules.
Hmm. How does that work exactly?
Well, federalism is how we have each state having its own government. And we're pretty unique in the world as far as that goes. And culturally, those that say come over from Europe to visit, it's rather shocking, especially if they do a national tour, because they might visit Texas and it feels like a different country, and then they go and visit Minnesota and it feels like a different country. So the two states, even though they are part of the same country, because there is enough cultural difference within the geography of the state, and then the state laws themselves, that they feel very distinct and different.
Hmm.
And that's the nature of how we have set up the government as far as the United States is concerned. Just we have the federal level and the supremacy clause of the Constitution. Just that anything in the federal Constitution holds more power than something in the state constitutions. So if a state constitution, if they write in something there that goes against what the federal constitution says not to do, they can't actually do it. Is the supremacy
Gotcha.
is the supremacy clause there? But it also means that anything not mentioned in the Constitution goes back to the states.
Hmm.
Or at least that's the expectation, is that the states take care of it. What's what's kind of ironic is that for the most part, the economics wise, the blue states pay for what happens in the red states.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just California itself, its economy is comparable to some other countries, just with how much money it generates in a year, how much it processes doing things, etc.
Huh.
So the joys of federalism.
Do you think there's any way they'd be able to force it on them?
It really depends with the Supreme Court the way it is. It's a little nerve wracking. But since we live in a blue state, it's going to be harder for them to do anything. Because
Gotcha.
if the federal level insists under Trump that federalism no longer exists, that means somebody else entering in. Yep, it is getting late for everybody, but it's been a long day.
Yeah.
But it would take a lot to. I'm definitely running on fumes. Sorry. It would take a lot to force the states to all do the same thing at this point
Gotcha.
culturally. What's good for Minnesota is not good for Texas, and vice versa. Though what Texas does sometimes isn't good for Texas, it's annoyingly their choice. That's why
Gun.
that's why Roe versus Wade was so important, because that it universally said that abortion was legal, and now that's been knocked over, and so it goes back down to the states.
Eh.
Federalism. Useful, but not.
Yeah,
Any other
definitely sounds like it.
any other questions or concerns?
Mm, not really.
Okay. Well, I think given my fuel level, we should probably call it here then, and maybe chase everybody off to bed. So I'll get this episode on the books. Any questions, comments, etc., you are welcome to comment over on flameflesh.net with the YouTube links, and then also podcast at flameflesh.net. You got some positive feedback, by the way, from Keela Bud. Just had some great questions from episode 170. So wanted to bring that up.
Oh, I can't remember what 170 was about, but cool.
you you accidentally set the agenda because you just had a lot of great current event questions.
Ah,
But there's the couple of ways to write in, leave a comment, etc. And thanks for joining us on episode 171. We'll see you on the other side.
live with honor.